How to Sell More Whiskey, Part 3. This is the third video in a three-part series. If you didn't catch the first part and the second part, we'll put links here for you to check them out. Part 1 was all about the mindset that you need to have to be successful selling more whiskey, and Part 2 was how to be successful selling direct to consumers. This video is all about how to have success in the three-tier world. Selling whiskey in the three-tier world can be a little intimidating if you're not used to it, so this video is going to help you a lot. Before I get started, I want to suggest another video that you might want to watch called The Role of the Distributor. This goes deep into what you can and can't expect from distributors, and I think it's going to help you a lot. For this video, let me just say there's 3 things that you can expect from a distributor. 1 is to carry some of your product in their warehouse and inventory. 2 is to deliver to the accounts that you and your team have sold to. And 3 is to potentially match your efforts. So why do I say this? Why do I sound so pessimistic about what distributors can do? There's a funny thing that has happened in just the last 5 or 6 years, and that is that distributors are completely overwhelmed with how many products they have to sell. There weren't this many products on the market 5, 6, 7 years ago, certainly not 10 years ago. And most people that you talk to, they're still running plays out of a playbook that no longer works. The old playbook was all about finding a good distributor, educating them on your products, getting into the market and working with them, providing some incentives perhaps for new distribution. This was how you partnered with distributors 10, 15 years ago. But it doesn't work anymore because there's just too many brands. And you, as the supplier, as the producer, the distiller, must recognize this for yourself because they're not really going to come out and say it to you. You have to accept that the new reality is distributors are overwhelmed. Distributors really can't sell for you unless they see you out there doing it first, and then they'll do their best to match your efforts. But if you have no salespeople or very few salespeople, and you think, if I find a distributor in a particular state, a new state that I'm not in yet, I'm golden because they've got all these salespeople and they can go out and sell for me. This is a flawed way of thinking about this process. The current reality is very disconnected from that. So you have to let go in your mind of what used to work because it just doesn't work that way anymore. Now the good news is in this video, I'm going to show you what to do to adjust to this new reality. There's no reason you can't be wildly successful in the three-tier world if you have the right expectations going in. So stay tuned, we're going to get into this. One of the things you need to understand is there are 3 ways to play the three-tier distributor game. Most people really aren't aware of this. They just think of the one way. So the first way that you can play this game is digital distributors, dealing with a digital distributor like LibDib. Now, LibDib is available in 10 states, adding more states all the time. I talk about this platform quite a bit. For a small producer, this is totally the way to go because you don't need to spend time courting distributors and chasing down distributors and having meetings with them and trying to convince them to carry your whiskey. LibDib is, you just call them up, make an appointment, they'll show you how to get set up on their platform. You could be literally set up in a day or two and start selling product to the trade, to package stores and restaurants, etc. So you definitely need to check out the digital 3-tier. Now, the second way that you can sell and play the 3-tier game is in a traditional brick-and-mortar distribution house. And this is where they have a warehouse and they have delivery trucks and salespeople, and they're going to take a nice fat margin for their efforts, and they deserve it because they work hard for it, and it's very expensive to have a warehouse and a sales team and delivery trucks. This is the most traditional way that people think about this game. Now, to be successful in the traditional 3-tier realm, you have to have the right expectations, which I just mentioned. But it's a slower build. It takes a long time to convince one of them to carry you, and they're going to put quite a bit of a markup on. I would hold off on pursuing traditional 3-tier distributors until I fully maxed out the digital selling opportunities and I had a proven success story. I've proven that there's a demand for my products in the trade, and you can do all of that digitally, which is a powerful thing. But certainly selling to traditional three-tier distributors is the second way the three-tier distribution system works. The third way is Spirits Direct. This is very, very misunderstood how this works. In a nutshell, major retailers like mostly chains or even really big single unit retailers can do this, but they approach a distillery directly. And instead of using a traditional three-tier distributor to legally get the products into the state, they use what's called a clearing distributor to legally bring the product into the state. But they really cut out a lot of that fat margin that a traditional distributor will take. And they put the savings into extra gross profit for the retailer. Now, you as the distiller do not need to lower your pricing. You don't need to make any special deals. You just sell at your regular FOB pricing. But because you're cutting out the middleman, the retailer can make a lot more money if they pursue these Spirits Direct deals. Now, I have a whole webinar, if you will, on how to do these deals. And I highly suggest you check it out. I'll put a link in the description here. But Spirits Direct can be a great option for small producers that do not yet have distribution around the country in various states with distributors. So I would totally pursue this if I were you. It can be a great way to generate some nice revenue and cash flow while you're still building your brand. Now, I know that I went through that kind of quickly, so let me just summarize a little bit, tie this up in a nice, neat bow. When you want to start adding to your sales by going into the three-tier world, there are three ways to play that game. If you're small and you do not yet have distribution in a lot of different states, I would highly suggest you pursue the digital three-tier approach first, using LibDib as your distribution partner. So reach out to them. They're great people. They'll walk you through the whole process. You should also explore Spirits Direct opportunities with major retailers in states where you don't already have traditional three-tier distribution. So what we're looking at here is a prioritization of how to do this. Go with digital three-tier first, then start pursuing some some Spirits Direct relationships with major retailers, and then lastly, when you've got a success story and you've proven there's a demand for your product, now you're ready to talk to a traditional three-tier distributor. These three-tier distributors of the traditional brick-and-mortar type, they're really not interested in taking on new brands that don't have some kind of proof that there's a demand for the product. But this natural evolution, working towards the eventually going with major national distribution, it really starts with these other two steps. So I hope that's really clear. If it's not clear, ask me any question you want in the description, and I will get right back to you. I read all of the comments. If you want to be successful selling in the three-tier world, there's one more thing we need to talk about, and that is how to generate your own demand. Just because you have your products listed on the LibDib site and you're ready to sell in a digital way doesn't mean that people are going to naturally come there. You have to create your own demand. And one of the best ways to do this is a powerful combination of email marketing and paid ads, either on Facebook, Instagram, or Google. And you want to use lead ads where you're offering something of value to get people to sign up for your email list. Once they're on your email list, you can begin to build a relationship with them, nurture those relationships, and then eventually put offers in front of them. This works for consumers and for trade. Now, I have several different resources that will show you how to generate your own demand, how to do lead ads, and how to effectively use email marketing. So these are three areas that you've really got to focus on and go through that learning curve. Because let's just say you have a large email list of trade buyers, mixologists, bartenders, head bartenders, general managers, package store owners. What if you had hundreds of people on your email list that you could communicate with? Let them know when new products are being released. Let them know when you've got specials going on, inviting them to the distillery. There's lots of things you can do with that email list. You need to be able to speak directly to trade buyers, and the best way to do that is with email. You'd be surprised how quickly you can grow a really nice list of trade buyers that you can communicate with. I have other resources that I will point you to that will show you how to do that, but that's really an important part of making this three-tier piece work. You've got to be able to have that massive email list where you can communicate with trade buyers and get them to take action, either request a sample or place an order with your products. In part 2 of this video series, I put up on the screen a little pyramid that's kind of a hierarchy of things to be done to sell more whiskey. And I'm going to put that pyramid back up on the screen now because it's very important to talk about. Do you see where the 3-tier is nested on this little pyramid? It's at the top, which means you must master and optimize the things at the bottom and then in the middle before you go into the 3-tier. This is very, very important. There's no sense in messing around with the 3-tier world until you fully optimize the first 2 levels of this hierarchy. I hope this video is helping you and will set you on the path to success in the 3-tier world. As always, I would be happy to answer any questions you have. Just put your questions right here in the comments. I read them all and answer them all promptly. Now, what you've learned in this 3-part series is really just the tip of the iceberg. There's a lot more that you could be diving into, and so I want to invite you to visit winesalesstimulator.com. Don't let the term wine fool you. It works equally well for spirits. But this is our group coaching program where you can access everything we do for a very, very low monthly membership fee. You can also check out other people who are in the program and hear what they have to say. All of that you will find at winesalesstimulator.com, where you can explore the program in more detail. So thank you for watching. If you got value from this video, please give it a thumbs up. We would love it if you would subscribe, and feel free to share this video with someone else in your organization that needs to see it.